I'm sorry, I messed up. I thought TEDx had invited me to speak on positivity. And I was all set to talk about how positivity can change our life, how it has changed my life. But then they told me that I'm actually supposed to speak on toxic positivity. How can positivity ever be toxic? What is there not to be positive about? After all, we live in such wonderful times. Did you know that an average man of today lives better life than the king of the 16th century? Don't believe me? Go Google it. Everything is just so great and positive and prosperity all around. You're sitting at home watching this TEDx talk. Imagine, the technology has gotten so much better. I understand the pandemic is ongoing, but let's just forget about it. Let's just be positive. I know that a few million people were lost, but it could have been worse. A friend of mine just lost a baby. She had a miscarriage. And when she was talking to me about it, she said she'll never try again. And I told her, don't be so negative. At least you can get pregnant. There's so many women who can't. And the world is right now under so much stress and duress. Well, maybe everything happens for a reason. And I'm sure if you had a breakup, one of your friends must have told you, come on buddy, forget about them. Move on. It's time already. You'll find someone else. And before you judge me, let me tell you, I recently had a breast tumor scare. And I shared with one of my friends. And she told me, well, at least you're a doctor. You won't be scared. Think positive and happy thoughts, she told me. All this sounded very gut-wrenching. It made you feel uncomfortable, didn't it? I felt very uncomfortable saying it and had to practice a lot. Why is it that when somebody comes and talks to us, we immediately present to them a basket full of positivity? Or shall I say, toxic positivity? Welcome to the world of toxic positivity. Toxic positivity involves telling somebody that their problem isn't big enough, that they should just get on with the solution. It involves dismissing their problems and not approaching the topic with empathy. It's the all is well, bhaiya, all is well mantra from Three Idiots, even when nothing is really going well. Now I completely understand that all these phrases of, come on, it's okay, you'll feel better, it's not a big deal, look at the silver lining, are all meant with very good intention. In fact, many of us folks think that we are giving a pep talk and easing the other person's pain. But can a band-aid solve the pain of a fracture? It can't. And that's what toxic positivity is. Toxic positivity, the fake, forced, false positivity which is unrealistic in the face of truth and where we really demand empathy. Toxic positivity can include a lot of things. It could be your favorite influencer having that perfect Instagram grid where they're just showing nothing but a positive life and you probably even feel jealous of them. It could be the denial of anything negative or the idea to approach a sensitive or a difficult conversation. And toxic positivity is often believed that it's a choice to choose the pain and difficult emotions and actually not #choose happiness. In fact, many of my patients are told that just be happy. Why don't you just #choose happiness when they're actually in depression? Doesn't work, does it? And wait. Before somebody else is judged by you for spreading toxic positivity, are you too spreading toxic positivity onto your own self? Don't believe me? Let's play a game of never have I ever. All you have to do is raise your hand if you have and keep it down if you haven't. Never have I ever felt bad about feeling bad. Never have I ever told myself that my problems are actually much smaller than somebody else's and I shouldn't feel really anything about it. Never have I ever told myself that I need to be happy 24/7, 365 days. Never have I ever told myself that I need to hustle harder and I don't deserve rest because I need to keep doing more and more and more. And never have I ever lied to myself when people have said, hey, how are you? And I've said, I'm good. Well, I am not. So there are two types of toxic positivity. One which is internalized towards you and two which is externalized towards the other people. But before I move on further, because I came here to talk about positivity, let me talk a little bit about it as well. All of us want to be positive, just not corona positive, right? But positivity is not the absence of negativity. Positivity is the frequent feeling of pleasant emotions. In fact, emotions cannot be binary, like positive and negative, the two ends of a battery cell, or good and bad. Do you know that emotions are like a rainbow? And in the field of mental health, we categorically teach that emotions should not be resonated as positive and negative. There's happiness, sadness, shame, disgust, fear, and so many more. In fact, this whole rainbow of emotions shows that we may have a preference for certain colors, but all of those colors are needed in our life. All emotions are valid and have their own place. Just like death must lead to sadness and grief, you can't just tell somebody that, hey, move on, it's okay. Just like you are allowed to get angry if somebody bangs your car. Then why is it that when we break up, we have a failure, or when we break a leg, or even if we have a mental health illness, we are told that we can just choose to move on, that just get over it, snap out of it, look at the good part about it. When a person talks to you, their main aim is to feel validated, to feel connected to you, to feel heard, to feel that empathy from you. But when we resort to toxic positivity, it's called emotional invalidation. We're rejecting them, we're criticizing them for not being happy, and we're choosing to break ties in communication with them. The truth is, the only way to go back to the positive emotions is while going through the negative ones and not over them. In the world of therapy and mental health, we call this navigating and processing the emotions. Think of it like rowing a boat. You can row from this end to that end only by going through all of the waves and motions and not skipping any by choice. Why do we engage in toxic positivity if it's sounding so bad so far? Years and years and years of conditioning. What happens when you see a baby cry? What is the first thing you say? Oh, don't cry, stop crying, maybe even stop being a baby. Imagine years and years of emotional invalidation where you are told that what you're feeling is not correct. No wonder we grow up with so much confusion around our emotions. Another reason why we are obsessed with toxic positivity is because we are a society obsessed with happiness. We all want to be happy all the time. In fact, some of my patients tell me that, doctor, I never want to think negative thoughts, always be happy, and always operate on 100%. When I break down the truth to them and I tell them that it is impossible, it's almost like saying that you'll never get hungry and your stomach will always be full. Or maybe that your cell phone will always be 100% battery charge and never run out. I know it sounds great, but it's counterproductive and not possible. Can there be a paradoxical effect to constantly chasing happiness? Well, studies have shown that constantly chasing happiness can actually be bad for your mental health. We cannot, as humans, choose only the responses and the emotions that we want to have. All the emotions have their place, and being with them in the present moment keeps us grounded in the now. Another place that toxic positivity breeds is on your social media. It's not possible to even go onto social media without finding all these motivational posts, all these motivational videos about choosing good vibes only and choosing happiness. In fact, there are these perfectly manicured Instagram pastel colored posts about how you are not making the right choices, and all these YouTube videos about how you need to hustle harder, try more, do more, be more, because that's the only way to happiness and positivity. If any of these bring you discomfort, then please disconnect, unfollow, even if it's my social media that you're on. So far, toxic positivity doesn't sound very serious, does it? On a very serious note, toxic positivity comes because of avoidance, and we use the defense mechanism called suppression. Again, doesn't sound very bad, does it? What are you doing? Just suppressing some emotions. Studies have shown that suppressing your emotions over a long period of time can cause a lot of mental health issues, even physical for that matter. Toxic positivity towards others can yield to making them feel shame, guilt, feeling a disconnect with them, even making them question their own reality. And when you spew toxic positivity onto your own self, knowingly or unknowingly, over the years and years and years of suppression, it may lead to depression, anxiety, stress response, sleep issues, heightened trauma response, and even substance abuse. I'd once lost a patient to suicide because when he went and spoke to his parents about his struggling mental health, He was told by his parents that he should just stop thinking about everything, start thinking positively, and forget about it, act like nothing happened. Not only did that cause him a lot of shame and guilt, but also a strong disconnect from his entire family. Forcing positivity onto someone who's already struggling can be counterproductive. True positivity isn't forced. It doesn't come from a place where somebody is telling you to be positive. So are you ready to change the narrative around toxic positivity? From toxic positivity to feeling all feelings. Let's change the narrative. Now, there is no magical pill. There is no 100% cure for toxic positivity. But what we can do is try to learn to speak about things a little bit differently and changing the narrative. Also, no one is against positivity. But here's a simpler way to learn the ABCDs all over again. Start with acceptance. Accept yourself. Accept your feeling. Accept that life cannot always be sunny. Also, allow others to express and allow yourself to express. Begin with balance. Be realistic. Be aware that it's okay. In a moment of distress, you will feel distress. You may feel sad, ashamed, angry, and all of these emotions are fine and relevant. In fact, you can have an umbrella of emotions even in a split second. Communicate and focus on listening rather than giving solutions and toxic platitudes of just pep talks. Communicate better with your own self as well. Discover better tools at managing stress. In fact, deep breathing is a good place to begin. Emotions should be taught early on in school. In fact, I think it should be made mandatory as a subject. And if you're not taught in school, then you can always explore therapy. And if you can't explore therapy and you haven't been taught in school, then try with the world of movies. There's one of my favorite movies called Inside Out, where it talks about all of the emotions, happy, sad, shame, disgust. It's a great place to learn about emotions if you want. This movie tells us that accepting and embracing all our emotions because they are a part of us, not apart from us. So the next time that a friend wants to have a conversation, or if you want to have a conversation with a friend, instead of saying, it's all okay, just agree that this situation seems hard. Instead of saying, don't be so negative, agree that this situation seems tough. Can we do something about it? Instead of telling your friend that, just get over it, tell them that, I hear you. Is there something that I can do to support and help you? Instead of saying, hashtag good vibes only, say all vibes are welcome here. And if you can't say anything good, just don't say anything and just be with them. From toxic positivity to feeling all feelings. Thank you.